The screaming had not stopped for 3 days. Deep inside the Galactic Union station called Harmony's Rest, the medical bay had become a place of chaos and fear. Doctors from 12 different species stood in the hallway, afraid to enter. Nurses refused to go near the room at the end of the corridor. Even the security officers, beings made of metal and muscle, kept their distance. Inside that room was a child, but not just any child. She was a Velthari cub, barely 4 years old by human counting. Her species was known across every corner of the galaxy as the most dangerous predators to ever walk on 2 legs. Adult Velthari could tear through starship walls with their claws. They could move so fast that cameras could not capture them. Their teeth could bite through armor, and their eyes could see in perfect darkness. But this one was small. Her name was Kira, and her silver-blue fur was dirty and matted. Her golden eyes were wild with terror. She had pressed herself into the corner of the medical room, and every time anyone came close, she screamed. It was not a normal scream. It was the hunting cry of her species, a sound that made every living creature want to run away and hide. 3 days ago, the station security team had found her on a smuggler's ship. The criminals had killed her family and taken her, planning to sell her to some rich collector who wanted an exotic pet. When the officers raided the ship, the smugglers were arrested, but Kira was left alone in a cage, surrounded by the smell of her parents' blood. Now she trusted no one. She attacked anyone who came close. She had not eaten. She had not slept. She was dying slowly, killed not by any weapon, but by her own fear. Dr. Tovan stood outside the observation window, watching the cub with great sadness. He was a helix, a tall and thin being whose skin glowed with soft blue light when he was calm. Right now, his skin was flickering with dark purple, the color of worry and stress. He had been a doctor for over 200 years, and he had never failed to help a patient. But this small creature was breaking his heart. "Her body is destroying itself," he said quietly to Commander Yule, who stood beside him. "When a Velthari stays afraid for too long, their own chemicals begin to poison them. If we cannot calm her in the next day or 2, her organs will start to fail." Commander Yule was a Gorvati, a species that looked like they were carved from gray stone. He was huge, nearly 3 meters tall, and his voice sounded like rocks grinding together. He had commanded this station for 15 years and had solved problems that seemed impossible. But watching this small cub suffer made him feel helpless. "We have tried everything," the commander said. "The Mindari sent their best empaths. They tried to send peaceful feelings into her mind. She attacked them so hard that 2 are still in the healing tanks." Dr. Tovan nodded sadly. "The sedatives do not work. Her body burns through them in minutes. The calming sounds we use for other species only make her more angry. The soft lighting, the gentle music, the warm blankets, nothing helps." "She sees everything as a threat," Commander Yule said. "Every kindness we offer looks like an attack to her." Inside the room, Kira let out another scream. This one was weaker than the ones before. She was getting tired, but her eyes still watched everything with the focus of a hunter. Or perhaps, Dr. Tovan thought, the focus of something being hunted. "There must be something we have not tried," the commander said. Dr. Tovan's lights flickered as he thought. "There is one species we have not asked for help. They arrived on the station just yesterday. A small group of humans." Commander Yule made a sound of doubt. "Humans! They are one of the weakest species in the Union. They have no claws, no armor, no special abilities. What could they possibly do that our best experts could not?" "I do not know," Dr. Tovan admitted, "but I have read strange things about them. Their homeworld is full of dangerous predators, and instead of avoiding them, humans made friends with them. They took wolves, one of their planet's top killers, and turned them into loving companions. They keep animals that could eat them as pets. They touch and play with creatures that terrify other species. The commander was quiet for a long moment. You think they understand predators? I think they understand something about predators that we do not. Something that cannot be measured by science or explained by logic. Inside the room, Kira had stopped screaming. She was too weak now. She just stared at the window with those golden eyes, her small body shaking. Dr. Toven could see her ribs through her fur. She was so thin, so tired, so afraid. "Bring the human," Commander Yule said finally. "We have nothing left to lose." Dr. Toven sent the message immediately. Somewhere on the station, a human would receive an urgent call, asking them to come to the medical bay for an emergency. They would have no idea what waited for them. They would not know that the fate of a small, terrified predator child rested on whatever strange knowledge their species might possess. As the two officials waited, Kira slowly closed her eyes. Not in sleep, she was too scared to sleep, but in exhaustion. Her small claws, sharp enough to cut through metal, dug into the floor as she tried to make herself smaller, tried to disappear into the corner where nothing could reach her. She did not know that help was coming. She did not believe that help was possible. In her young mind, she was completely alone in a universe that wanted to hurt her. She was wrong. But she did not know it yet. Park Jisoo was eating noodles in her small room when the message came. She had been on the space station for only 18 hours, and she was still trying to understand how everything worked. The doors opened by thought. The lights changed color based on mood. The food machine could make anything she asked for, though it never got the noodles quite right. She was a lieutenant in the Earth Union fleet, sent to Harmony's Rest as a cultural exchange officer. Her job was simple: help humans and aliens understand each other better. She had expected the work to be mostly paperwork and meetings. She had not expected an emergency call to the medical bay. When she arrived, she found chaos. Aliens of all shapes and sizes filled the hallway outside a sealed room. Some were tall and glowing. Some were short and covered in scales. Some looked like walking rocks, and others looked like clouds of colored gas. All of them looked worried. A huge, stone-like being approached her. His voice was deep and rough. "You are the human?" "Lieutenant Park Jisoo," she said, trying not to feel small next to him. "I received an emergency message. I am Commander Yule. Come with me." He led her to a window that looked into a medical room. What Jisoo saw inside made her heart hurt immediately. A small creature, like a mix between a cat and a wolf, was pressed into the corner. Her fur was silver blue but dirty. Her golden eyes were huge with fear. She was shaking so hard that Jisoo could see it through the glass. She was clearly just a child, and she was clearly terrified beyond words. "Her name is Kira," said a glowing alien beside her. His light was flickering with dark colors. "She is a Velthari. Her family was killed by smugglers. We rescued her, but we cannot calm her. She attacks anyone who comes close. She has not eaten or slept in 3 days. Her own fear is killing her." Jisoo listened as they explained everything they had tried. Special medicines that did not work. Mind readers who got attacked. Calming sounds that made things worse. Soft beds and warm rooms that meant nothing to the cub. "We have tried every method known to the Galactic Union," Commander Yule said. 17 different species have offered advice. Nothing has worked. You are our last hope." Jisoo looked at the small cub in the corner. She thought about what she was seeing. Not the claws or the teeth. Not the fact that this child could probably kill her easily. She looked at the way Kira pressed herself into the corner. The way her eyes jumped to every movement. The way she was trying to make herself as small as possible. "She is not aggressive," Jisoo said quietly. The aliens looked at her with confusion. "She destroyed 3 medical beds," the glowing doctor said. "She injured 5 medical workers." Because they were trying to catch her or calm her or help her, Jisoo said. She was defending herself. There is a difference. She kept watching the cub. Look at her. She is not hunting. She is hiding. She is trying to find somewhere safe, and nothing here feels safe to her. We offered her enclosed spaces, the doctor said. Sleeping pods with soft walls, private rooms with... Did you put her in them? Or did you show them to her while everyone watched and waited for her to choose? The doctor's lights flickered. He did not answer. Jisoo nodded slowly. A memory came to her from long ago. She was a little girl, maybe 7 years old. Her grandmother had rescued a cat from the streets. The cat was so scared that it hid behind the refrigerator for days. Nothing worked to bring it out. Food did not work. Soft voices did not work. Reaching for it only made it scratch and run. Then her mother did something simple. She put an empty cardboard box in the middle of the kitchen floor. Just a plain, boring box. No special features, no technology, just 6 walls and a hole to enter. Within an hour, the cat was inside the box. Within a day, it was sleeping peacefully. The box gave it something that nothing else could. A place to hide where it could see out but the world could not see in. A place where it was in control. I need a box, Jisoo said. Commander Yule's stone face showed something that might have been confusion. A box? A simple container. Plain walls that she cannot see through. An opening on one side. Big enough for her to fit inside, but small enough to feel tight and safe. We have advanced sleeping pods that... Those are the problem, Jisoo said. They glow. They make sounds. They smell like machines and chemicals. They are strange and foreign and scary. She turned to face all the aliens watching her. She does not need advanced. She needs simple. She needs something boring and dark and quiet where she can hide and pretend the universe cannot find her. The aliens looked at each other. Their expressions showed doubt, but they had no other ideas. Make me a box, Jisoo said, and then leave me alone with her. Commander Yule started to argue. That is too dangerous. She could kill you in... She could, Jisoo agreed, but she will not. Because I am not going to try to catch her or calm her or help her. She looked back at the small, shaking cub. I am just going to exist in the same room as her. And sometimes, that is all anyone needs. The engineering team took 40 minutes to make a box. This was strange, because they could build complex machines in less time. They could repair starship engines. They could create medical tools that saved lives. But a simple box confused them completely. No electronics? The lead engineer asked. He was a Telkari, half machine and half organic with metal arms and glowing eyes. No climate control? No monitoring systems? Nothing, Jisoo said. Just walls and an opening. What material? Something plain. Brown or gray. Something that looks boring and unimportant. The engineer made a sound of disbelief, but did as she asked. The manufacturing machines hummed and worked, and finally produced a simple container. It was light brown, about 1 meter wide and tall, with walls made of pressed plant fibers. It looked exactly like a cardboard box from Earth, though it was made of alien materials. Jisoo examined it carefully. She knocked on the walls. They were solid but not hard. She smelled it. It had almost no scent. She looked inside. It was dark and plain. Perfect, she said. I have been an engineer for 60 years, the Telkari said. This is the strangest thing I have ever made. I also need something soft for inside, a blanket, something with no smell, something that has been washed many times so it feels gentle. Dr. Toven, the glowing doctor, found an old medical blanket. It had been used and cleaned so many times that it was very soft, with no chemical smell left. Jisoo arranged it in the bottom of the box, pushing it into the corners to make a little nest. Now, she said, I need everyone to leave. Turn off the cameras. Stop watching. No, Commander Yule said immediately. I cannot allow you to enter alone. If she attacks you, if she attacks me, it will be because I did something wrong." Jisoo looked up at the massive stone commander. "She has attacked people who tried to restrain her, people who tried to sedate her, people who tried to force help on her. I will not do any of those things." "Then what will you do?" "I will sit on the floor. I will put the box in the room, and then I will ignore her." Every alien in the hallway stared at her. "Ignore her?" Dr. Tovan's lights flickered rapidly. "She is dying. She needs help." "How will ignoring her help?" Jisoo thought about how to explain. These beings came from different worlds with different instincts. They did not understand predators the way humans did. "She is a predator," Jisoo said slowly. "Even as a child, her brain works like a predator. Right now, her instincts are screaming that everything is a threat. Every person who looks at her is a threat. Every person who tries to help her is trying to catch her. Every kind word is a trap." She paused to let them understand. "If I go in there and try to help her, I become another threat. But if I go in there and act like she is not interesting, not important, not even worth looking at, her instincts will get confused. She will not know what to do with a creature that is not hunting her and not afraid of her. It might give her brain enough time to calm down." "That is not how medicine works," Dr. Tovan said. "No," Jisoo agreed. "It is how predators work, and right now, she needs someone who understands predators more than she needs medicine." The aliens talked among themselves in low voices. Jisoo waited. She knew her plan sounded crazy to them. In their worlds, problems were solved with technology and science. The idea of solving a problem by doing nothing was foreign to them. Finally, Commander Yule spoke. "The current methods are failing. She is getting weaker every hour. If your plan does not work, she will die anyway." His rocky face shifted. "You may try." Jisoo picked up the box. It was light and simple in her arms. Such an ordinary thing to carry so much hope. "Turn off the cameras," she said again. "She needs to not feel watched. She needs to feel like she can be invisible." Dr. Tovan hesitated, then nodded to a technician. The red recording lights above the observation window went dark. "I will monitor her vitals from here," the doctor said. "If anything goes wrong—" "It will not," Jisoo said. She was not completely sure this was true, but she believed it. She had to believe it. She walked to the door of the medical room. It slid open with a soft hiss. The smell hit her immediately. The sharp scent of fear, of unwashed fur, of a child who had been trapped in terror for too long. Inside, Kira's golden eyes locked onto her. The cub's fur stood up, her claws extended. A low growl started in her throat. Jisoo did not look at her. She walked calmly to the center of the room, set down the box with its opening facing roughly toward Kira's corner, and then sat on the floor about 2 meters away. She pulled out her small reading device and began to read an article about nothing important. Behind her, she heard the door close. She was alone now, with a predator child who could kill her in seconds. She turned a page and kept reading. The growling slowly stopped, and the long wait began. For the first 10 minutes, nothing happened. Jisoo sat on the floor and read her device. She did not look at Kira. She did not speak to her. She did not even turn her body toward the corner where the cub was hiding. She just existed in the room like a piece of furniture, boring and unimportant. Kira watched her with burning golden eyes. Every muscle in the cub's small body was tight and ready. Her claws were out. Her ears were flat against her head. She was waiting for the attack that she knew must come. Every other creature had tried to catch her or drug her or force her to be calm. This one would do the same. She was sure of it. But the human did not move toward her, did not look at her, did not do anything except sit there and stare at the glowing rectangle in her hands. At 15 minutes, Kira let out a warning hiss. It was loud and sharp, the kind of sound that made most species run away in fear. Jisoo responded with a small hum, the kind of sound a person makes when they hear something far away that does not concern them. Then she turned a page and kept reading. The cub did not understand. This was not how threats behaved. Threats looked at you. Threats moved toward you. Threats made loud voices and grabbed at you with their hands. This creature was doing none of those things. At 20 minutes, Kira's fur began to settle, just a little. Her body was still tense, but the immediate panic was starting to fade. She was getting confused instead of scared, and confusion was better than terror. Jisoo noticed this from the corner of her eye, but gave no sign. She let out a small sigh, the kind of sound a person makes when they are slightly bored. It was a very human sound, and Kira's ears twitched at it. Her species had excellent hearing, and this sound was unlike anything the aliens made. It was soft and natural and completely unthreatening. At 25 minutes, Kira began to move. Very slowly, very carefully, she crept along the wall. Not toward Jisoo, that would be too dangerous, but not exactly away from her either. She was circling, the way a predator does when studying something new. Jisoo did not react. She kept her eyes on her reading device. Her heartbeat stayed calm. Her breathing stayed steady. Everything about her body language said, "I am not a threat, and you are not interesting to me." This was the hardest part. Every instinct told Jisoo to look at the cub, to check on her, to offer help. But she forced herself to be still. She knew that any attention would be seen as a trap. The only way to help Kira was to not try to help her at all. At 30 minutes, the cub noticed the box. Jisoo watched from the very edge of her vision as Kira approached the strange object. The cub moved in slow circles, getting closer with each pass. Her nose twitched as she smelled it. Her eyes studied it from every angle. The box did nothing. It just sat there. It did not glow or hum or move. It was the most boring thing in the room. Kira reached out one paw and touched the edge. She was ready to jump back if it did anything scary, but it did nothing. It was just a wall, a plain, solid wall. She batted at it with her claws. It moved slightly but made no sound. It was not alive. It was not a trap. It was just a thing. The cub put her front paws on the edge and lifted herself up to look inside. The opening was dark. The blanket inside was soft and plain. There were no lights, no sounds, no smells of medicine or machines. It was just a small, dark, quiet space. Something deep in Kira's brain relaxed. She did not understand why. She only knew that this thing felt safe in a way that nothing else had felt safe since her parents died. She jumped inside. The walls were close around her. She could see only through the small opening, and through that opening she could see the whole room. Nothing could sneak up on her. Nothing could grab her from behind. She was hidden, but not trapped. She was protected, but not caged. Kira turned around 3 times, the way her species always did before resting. She kneaded the blanket with her claws, feeling the soft material give under her paws. Then she curled herself into the tightest ball she could make, tucking her nose under her tail, and pressed herself into the corner of the box. For the first time in 3 days, she closed her eyes. Not from exhaustion this time, from something else. Something she had forgotten was possible. Safety. Outside the box, Jisoo kept reading. Her heart was pounding with joy, but she kept her body calm. She did not look at the box. She did not make any sound of celebration. She just existed, quiet and boring, while a small predator child finally found a moment of peace. Dr. Tovan's voice came through her earpiece, so quiet that only she could hear it. Her vitals are changing, heart rate slowing, stress chemicals decreasing. I think she is actually falling asleep. Jisoo smiled but did not speak. She turned another page on her device. Inside the box, Kira's breathing became slow and deep. Her muscles relaxed one by one. The terrible tension that had held her body for 3 days began to melt away. She was not okay. She was still an orphan in a strange place surrounded by aliens she did not know. The pain of losing her family was still there, waiting for her. But for now, in this moment, in this simple box, she was safe enough to sleep. And that was enough. That was a beginning. 4 hours passed, then 8, then 12. Jisoo stayed in the room the whole time. She moved only to lean against the wall and stretch her legs. She ate a small meal that Dr. Tovan sent through a quiet opening in the door. She never looked directly at the box. She never tried to check on Kira. She just waited. The cub slept for almost 10 hours. When she finally woke, she did not come out of the box. She just lay there with her eyes open, watching the strange human through the small opening, watching and waiting and trying to understand. Jisoo knew she was awake. She could see the golden glow of the cub's eyes reflecting light. But she did not acknowledge it. She kept reading, kept being boring, kept existing without demands. On the second day, Kira's nose appeared at the opening of the box. Just her nose, sniffing the air. Jisoo had left a small piece of dried meat on the floor, not too close to herself and not too close to the box. Just in the middle, where Kira could reach it if she wanted. It took 3 hours for the cub to leave the box long enough to grab the meat. She moved so fast that Jisoo almost missed it. One moment the meat was there. The next moment, Kira was back in the box, eating quickly with her eyes still watching. Jisoo did not react. She turned a page. On the third day, Dr. Tovan asked to speak with her through the earpiece. Her health is improving rapidly. She has eaten twice. She has slept more in 3 days than in the entire week before. We do not understand how this is working. Jisoo spoke quietly, knowing the cub could hear her, but hoping her calm tone would not cause alarm. She needed to not be helped. She needed to be left alone until she was ready to choose help for herself. But we offered her the choice before. We showed her the sleeping pods and let her decide. You showed her while watching, while waiting, while expecting her to choose. Jisoo kept her voice soft and even. Predators do not like to be watched. It makes them feel like prey. She needed to make her choice when no one was looking, when no one cared what she decided. The doctor was quiet for a moment. Your species is very strange. Yes, Jisoo agreed. We are. On the 4th day, Kira left the box for longer periods. She would walk around the room, always keeping distance from Jisoo, always watching. Sometimes she would return to the box for hours. Sometimes she would sit near the wall and groom her dirty fur. Jisoo began to do small things. She would hum quietly while reading. She would fidget with a piece of string. She never offered these things to Kira. She just did them for herself, as if the cub did not exist. On the 5th day, Kira sat outside her box and watched Jisoo play with the string. Her golden eyes tracked every movement. Her ears were forward now instead of flat. She was curious instead of afraid. Jisoo let the string drop to the floor and kept reading. 5 minutes later, a small paw reached out and touched the string. On the 6th day, Commander Yule visited the observation window. The cameras were still off, but he watched through the glass with his own eyes. What he saw amazed him. The human was sitting on the floor, holding one end of a string. The predator cub was crouching a meter away, her body low and her eyes bright, watching the string move. When Jisoo twitched it, Kira pounced. She caught the string in her claws and wrestled with it like it was alive. She was playing. The most dangerous child in the galaxy was playing. I do not understand your species, the commander said later when Jisoo came out for a break. You are soft and slow and weak. You have no natural weapons, yet you tamed a Velthari cub with a box and a piece of string. Jisoo thought about this. She was tired but happy. The work was not finished. Kira would need months of care and patience before she fully healed. But the impossible had been done. The cub was eating, sleeping, starting to trust. "We are weak," Jisoo admitted. "That is true. For most of our history, we were prey. Bigger animals hunted us. Faster animals caught us. We survived by understanding the things that could kill us." She looked through the window at Kira, who had climbed back into her box for a nap. "We learned to read predators, to know what scared them and what calmed them, to see them not as monsters but as creatures with feelings and needs. And then we did something no other species seems to do. We stopped just understanding them. We started loving them." Jisoo smiled. "We took wolves and made them into dogs. We found wild cats and gave them our homes. We looked at creatures with claws and teeth and thought, I want that to be my friend." Commander Yule made a rumbling sound. "That is insane." "Probably," Jisoo agreed. "But it is also who we are." On the 7th day, Kira walked across the room and sat next to Jisoo. Not touching her, just near her, close enough to feel her warmth. Jisoo did not react. She kept reading. Her heart was full of joy, but she kept her body calm and quiet. The cub watched her for a long time. Then slowly, carefully, she leaned her small body against Jisoo's side. Her fur was soft and warm. Her breathing was slow and peaceful. Jisoo stayed very still. She did not reach out to pet the cub or hug her or make any sudden movements. She just existed, warm and steady and patient. And the predator child, for the first time since losing everything, began to purr. It was a deep sound, rumbling through her small body like distant thunder. It was the sound her species made when they felt safe, when they felt loved, when they felt like they belonged. Outside the window, Dr. Tovin's lights glowed bright blue, the color of wonder, the color of hope. The human had done the impossible, not with medicine or technology or force, but with patience and understanding and a simple box. Perhaps that was what made humans special. Not their strength or their speed or their weapons, but their strange, stubborn ability to sit with frightened things until the fear went away, to love what could destroy them, to see a monster and choose to see a friend instead. Kira purred against Jisoo's side, and outside the stars continued their endless dance, and somewhere in the galaxy, a small orphan began to heal.